Well, good morning, you guys, and welcome to my channel. This is Homemakers Journal 27, and it's just feeling so much like fall. We had some beautiful fall days. The temperature had dropped a bit, and so we were in the low 70s, and the sun was shining, and it was just so gorgeous. And then just like that, overnight, literally overnight, we went from a 74-degree day to a 50-degree day, and the clouds rolled in, the rain rolled in, and the temperature started dropping at night, and I just thought, yep, this is definitely fall. It was a good thing. If you saw my last video where I talked about the fire danger that we had kind of experienced, thankfully it was like just a couple days after I had filmed that video that rain started, and so that fire is completely gone and nobody's in danger anymore, so it is perfect. In fact, everything's got such a drenching now that they lifted the burn ban, so my husband's out doing burn piles today that he's been collecting debris and things on and waiting for that burn ban to be able to finally be over. So on today's episode, I have a few fun things to share with you. Number one is a nice, easy, quick fall dinner. I have two baking things to share with you, and one sewing project that I finished that I thought was really a fun, easy project to do. If fairly easy, but I'll get into that pretty soon. So the first thing I want to share with you is this absolutely delicious and fast and easy, very fall meal, and fairly frugal. You could make a couple changes to the meat and make it even more frugal, but it was a roasted potato, carrots, and I had some sausages that I fried up and served, and this meal went together in just, I don't know how long it took, maybe a half hour or something by the time I was all done with the roasting of the vegetables, but so good and so easy. So I want to share, if you're looking for a really nice quick fall time dinner, you might enjoy this one. I started out by taking a bunch of potatoes, I can't remember how many I had, maybe 5, and chopping those up into bite-sized pieces. I also had mushrooms. I absolutely love a roasted mushroom, so if I have them in my refrigerator, I will add them to my potatoes when I roast, and just drizzle on some olive oil, put your favorite seasonings. I did a little bit of salt, a little bit of seasoning salt, and some garlic. Mix that all up and pop that in the oven. I put it in about a 400-degree oven, and while that started roasting, I moved on to the carrots. I washed my carrots, I chopped them up into fairly small pieces so that they would roast quickly. And I don't peel my carrots. I used to peel my carrots all the time, and then decided one day to just try it without. And we actually like it better, and I feel like, you get more fiber and it's more nutritious. And so carrots are one of my favorite vegetables, and they're a super frugal vegetable to use. And I could buy big 5-pound bags. This year I've paid anywhere from $4 to $6 for a big 5-pound bag. I think that's a pretty good bargain, and they last me quite a while in the refrigerator. I don't have to worry about them going bad quickly, so I'm all about carrots. They're a great thing to have. A few weeks ago, I had bought some Adele sausage at Costco, and it was on sale, so I got a pretty good deal on it. When you buy it, you have 2 individual packages that are each about a pound. I had already used one, so I used the second one this time for this meal, and I just sliced it up and fried that up in a frying pan. So let me say on the meat options, if you want something even more frugal, you could do something like chicken legs. That has been one of my family's favorite meals, is roasted chicken legs. Super simple and easy to do, and a really good bargain for your money. You could do any type of meat that you have. You could use leftover meat if you have some, pot roast or something left over from the night before. You could just reheat that. If you did something like chicken legs, I have actually done this as a sheet pan dinner, where I just have the potatoes sitting next to the carrots and a few chicken legs, and it all kind of comes together at the same time. Now, if you had bigger pieces of chicken, it might take the chicken a little bit longer than the potatoes and the carrots. It's hard to say. But no matter what you choose, whether it's the sausages or maybe some Polish sausages or something like that, this meal goes together really quick and makes a nice fall feeling dinner. We really enjoyed it, and in fact, I made enough for us to eat for 2 nights. It seems to be my thing. I have a hard time just cooking for the 2 of us for just 1 night. That's a challenge. But I decided not to worry about that too much because we don't mind eating leftovers, and that means the next night I don't have to cook. So that's a bargain, right? Share with you a few things that I have been baking recently. The first one is the viral canned cinnamon roll hack, I guess you could call it. Have you heard of that? I guess it became popular on TikTok. I don't know. I don't have a TikTok account, but that's where I heard it. Then it kind of started overflowing into YouTube, and it has been around the internet a lot. And the first time I saw it, I was kind of, well, that looks interesting, and didn't really think much more about it, but then I saw it over and over again, and I thought, well, what the heck, let me give it a try. The original recipe calls for jumbo-sized cinnamon rolls in the can. They're really actually expensive, and I guess my frugal self would not allow me to buy the big, huge jumbo ones, so I just bought a regular cinnamon rolls and hoped that that would work, and it did work just fine. And basically you are making these cinnamon rolls. They're supposed to be like a Cinnabon cinnamon roll, and if I've ever had a cinnamon roll from Cinnabon, it's been forever and I have no memory of it. But I don't think I have, so I can't tell you whether or not they actually taste like Cinnabon cinnamon rolls. But they do taste better than a canned cinnamon roll does normally take. If you're ever looking for a quick fix to a cinnamon roll, need that you have, this would actually really work well. So I sprayed my 9x9 pan baking dish with some nonstick spray, and then I opened up the can of cinnamon rolls and laid those all into the pan. Then I took a little bit of whole cream and I poured that in, on, and around all the cinnamon rolls. I will have a link to the recipe that I followed below so that you can see the measurements and see how this lady did it, because I kind of followed her method, but since I was only doing 1 can of biscuits, I cut her recipe in half. The next step for this was to melt some butter and brown sugar together over a burner, and then throw in some pecans. You take that mixture after it has all gotten nice and melted and spoon that over the top of these biscuits, or these cinnamon rolls, I should say, and pop that into the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. When I pulled it out, it smelled delicious, they looked amazing, and I let that sit for a little bit. Then I took the cream cheese frosting that comes with the cinnamon rolls and I drizzled that over the top as a last step. So what I can say about them is they were very moist. They definitely seemed to get bigger in size, probably because they absorbed all that cream, than what they normally do. And we really enjoyed those a lot. If you have tried this cinnamon roll hack, please let me know below and what you thought of it too. I will say it's definitely not a replacement for, homemade from scratch cinnamon rolls. Those will always be my favorite. I finally pulled out a can of pumpkin and decided to do a little pumpkin baking. I made some pumpkin bars, some cream cheese pumpkin bars. I had actually never made these before. It was my daughter's birthday and she loves pumpkin and cream cheese and anything like that, so I thought I would make her a little birthday treat. I started out by just mixing up the filling first, and that went together really good as long as your cream cheese is soft and it'll mix up nice and smooth. I set that aside, and then it was time to make the pumpkin layer. The first layer is pumpkin, and I use coconut oil quite a bit in my cooking and baking, so if a recipe calls for vegetable oil, what I tend to do is just measure out the coconut oil and then put it into the microwave, or sometimes I'll even set it in a bowl of warm water and then just use that as a replacement for the vegetable oil called for in a recipe. This worked out really well after I mixed up the batter. I sprayed some Baker's Joy on the bottom of and around the sides of my baking dish. Have you ever used Baker's Joy before? I have never. I've seen it for years. I've just never actually purchased it. I actually love this stuff. It just does a fantastic job, and when you're all done, cleanup is super easy and nice. So let me know if it's something you use regularly. I then spread the pumpkin layer onto the bottom of these, and then kind of, the directions said to dollop the filling over the top, which I did, and then you're supposed to take a knife and kind of marble it in. I didn't really have much luck with the marbling thing. There was so much filling on the top that it just kind of all baked on the top. Well, whatever, it worked, and I popped those in the oven and baked them. I will have the recipe linked below. I let them cool and cut them into bars, and I have to say these were actually really good. I enjoyed them a lot. They weren't terribly sweet, so if you're looking for a super sweet dessert, this may not be the answer for you, but we enjoyed them a lot. My daughter enjoyed them, my grandkids enjoyed them, so I put it on the highly recommended list. I now have the remainder of that can of pumpkin that I have plans for, and I need to be working to get some ideas. I think I'm going to make some pumpkin bread next. What kind of pumpkin baking or any kind of fall baking have you been doing? I'm loving this sunny day today. It is just so absolutely gorgeous out there, and we have about 9 or 10 days of rain coming starting tomorrow. So I'm just loving being outside today and enjoying this beautiful day.
Tomorrow, Grandma, it's tomorrow. And it starts at 6 p.m.
So I had a scrap of fabric that my daughter, it was actually a scrap that she had, and she'd bought it like a year ago to make my youngest granddaughter, her littlest girl, and she wasn't sure what she was going to make with it, and then ended up not making anything. And so I said, well, let me have it and I'll see what I can do. And I searched around on YouTube and the internet and looking for a really easy dress pattern that would be quick to put together, that I think my granddaughter would enjoy wearing, because she absolutely loves to wear dresses. So I found this pattern on YouTube, and I am going to link it below. So what I'm going to show you here in the video is not a tutorial, because this lady does an absolutely amazing job of showing you how to put this little dress together. Since my granddaughter has grown in the last year, so the little bit of fabric that had been purchased was not going to be able to be enough to make the whole dress. So I had a couple purple fat quarters that I decided I would use that to kind of use for the sleeves and the ruffle on the bottom of the dress. And so that ended up working out really well. Probably the biggest challenge I had was that the dress, the measurements to cut out the fabric was in centimeters. So I just went on to Google and put centimeters to inches, and then just rounded those inches to the best that I could. But I thought it turned out really cute. Let me know what you think. All right, you guys, I think that will wrap up Homemakers Journal 27, and I hope that you found something useful, helpful, enjoyable in this, and encouraging you in your homemaking life. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps the old YouTube algorithm so that my video can be seen by other people who have similar interests. And if you have a comment to leave me, please do. I would appreciate that. I always enjoy hearing from you. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, would you consider subscribing? I always appreciate that as well. All right, you guys, I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.